Let's say that you're convinced that it's time for you to write a book. Maybe you've thought all about it, you've looked at the reasons why in the video we did about why you should write a book, and you're saying, I'm convinced I need to write a book. Here's the only problem. Which book should I write? Right? Like that's the problem that so many of us face. If you're anything like me, I've got a lot of ideas that could turn into a book. The hard part is deciding which one of those ideas do I need to write about right now, and which one of those ideas needs to be my next book, or in some cases, maybe your first book. How do you decide that? In this video, I'm going to walk you through an exact process to determine how to decide which book to write next. My name is Lane. It's so awesome to have you with me today. I want to put something in your hands. This is my free 5-step guide to writing a #1 best-selling book. It's my gift to you. It's a PDF that will be a great companion to these videos that shows you the exact 5 steps that I took to write my first book, which was a #1 bestseller in its category on Amazon. You can check that out at lanesebring.com/5steps and get yours today. All right, so let's dive right into the topic for today. Which book should you write, and how are you going to decide? So I almost hate to tell you what the answer is, because there's really a one-word answer to this question, and you're likely to click off of this video if you don't understand fully how powerful this can be. Are you ready for it? Research. Research? What? Until you do research, you really don't know what people want and what people need related to your topic. You have all of your ideas, which if you're like me, you're pretty convinced of those ideas, but you really don't know if they're going to serve your readers until you ask and listen to what they have to say. And the way you do that is through research. Now you may be saying, wait a second, I love research. And if that's the case, then you're going to love this. And even if you don't love research, I'm going to show you how to do research in a way that is simple and easy and gets you the quickest results in the best possible way so that you can keep moving along in the process of writing your book. Now, as a side note, I just want to point something out that I think is important for you to understand and for us to understand about each other. All of what I'm about to say is contingent upon something that's really important, and that is that the topic that you're thinking about writing a book about is something that you know a lot about. It's something that people ask you about often. It's something that you could talk about, and you do talk about it all the time. And people, by the way, love to hear you talk about it. It's not necessarily that you're an expert on the topic, although that helps, but you don't have to be an expert. You just have to know more about it than most people, and you have to know more about it than the people who are going to read your book, your potential readers. Now, the more you know about the topic, the better, and you're going to research as you write the book. But for right now, as we're just trying to decide which book should you write, you just need to be thinking about a topic that you already know enough about to talk about a lot and to share with people a lot, and something that people come to you and ask you about a lot, and something that people are interested to hear what you have to say. If you're not to that point yet, don't be discouraged. You can still get to that point, but maybe it would be better to think about a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel where you can start talking about your topic enough so that you build up an audience that would be interested in reading more about what you have to say if you put it into a book. But if you are there and you're like, no, this is a topic that I do like, that people do ask me about, I feel like I know enough about it to get started in the process, let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to do that. The method I'm going to show you for how to research a topic for a book is something that I learned from Graham Cochran when he was talking about doing research for online business in general. If you're not following Graham Cochran, you definitely should. He's got a great podcast called The Graham Cochran Show. His method of research is basically asking 2 questions. And I've done this for a couple of years now with my students, and it's highly, highly effective. Essentially, you're going to ask your audience 2 simple questions. And by the way, when I say audience, what I'm talking about is the people who have subscribed to your email list, if you have one, or follow you on social media, or know you in real life, just people who you think might be your potential readers. You want to ask them 2 very important questions. The first question is, what are your biggest frustrations with fill in the blank? Insert your topic. What are your biggest frustrations with that? And the second question is, what are your biggest desires or goals with fill in the blank or with your topic? So what are your biggest frustrations and what are your biggest desires or goals related to your topic? If you can know the answer to those two questions from enough people, you'll be well on your way to knowing which topic you should focus on. And as a bonus, you could ask a third question, which is simply, what is one thing that I could help you with right now? So what I want to do is I want to break down these first two questions, the big main questions. I want to help you understand why these questions are so powerful and how you can use them in your research as well. That first question is, what are your biggest frustrations with fill in the blank right now? In my Preaching Resources brand, Preaching Donkey, the way I ask this of my audience is I say, what are your biggest frustrations in your preaching right now? Depending on your topic, you might say, what are your biggest frustrations in your parenting right now? What are your biggest frustrations in your fitness right now? Or what are your biggest frustrations in your marriage right now, in your finances right now? Whatever your niche is, whatever your topic is, you just want to ask people broadly, what are you frustrated with? And what this does is it allows them to tell you in their words what frustrations they have, what problems they have. Because then it starts to formulate in your mind what problem your book could address. And that's a really important thing to understand because every book needs to solve a problem. We'll deal with that in a future video. Let's look at the second question. What are your biggest desires or goals related to the topic right now? Once again, for your audience, insert the topic that you're interested in writing about. So what are your biggest desires and goals with your parenting or with your marriage or with your finances or with whatever right now? And this, again, gives your audience the opportunity to tell you what they hope for, what their desires are, what their goals are. And this is gold for you to understand because if you both know their frustrations, what they're trying to get away from, and their desires and goals, what they're aspiring toward, you've got some amazing information to know how to position your book to basically meet them right where they are, help them through their frustrations, and to help them achieve their goals. That's a powerful piece of information for you to have. And then finally, the bonus question where you say, what can I help you with right now? It's just another way of asking those two questions together because they're either going to give you an answer that helps them to get out of something they're frustrated with, or they're going to give you an answer that helps them move towards something they want to accomplish. Either way, it's really good information for you to have. This same method, by the way, is really helpful not just to write a book, but also if you're wanting to start something like a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel or something where you can get a message out to people. A lot of times people that want to get started with online business or having an online brand or building an online platform, often they don't know where to start because it's frustrating to think, well, what topic is going to best serve my potential audience that I don't yet have, but I desire to have? What do I know the most about? How can I contribute the best? And so sometimes it's helpful if you're trying to decide between, I think I might start a mom blog or a fitness blog, let's say, and you're really into topics surrounding mom blogging and you're also into fitness. Well, maybe one day you might blend those two together and you might be the mom blogger who's also the fitness blogger, and that would be amazing. But when you're starting out, it's helpful to be as narrow as you can possibly be so that you can focus on who you're talking to and why you're talking to them. And so you might say, okay, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to ask people to tell me their frustrations in their parenting as a fellow mom, okay, if you're a mom. And I'm also going to reach out and have people tell me their frustrations about fitness. And I'll ask for desires with fitness as well and with momming, and I'll ask them where I can help them, and then I'll take all of that information and I'll look at it side by side and I'll think, where is the bigger need, right? Is it over here or is it over here? And so that's if you want to start a brand or a blog, or even if you want to write a book. If you're torn between two different things, ask in two different ways. Now, you don't need to say, hey everybody, I'm doing research because I'm going to write a book or I'm trying to start an online brand. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can just ask in a normal conversation. Get on Facebook, get on Instagram, go wherever you go and say, what are you most frustrated about X right now? Fill in the blank. And you'd be amazed how many people will respond and let you know exactly what they're frustrated about. And so basically, if you're trying to decide which book to write or which brand to start or which online platform to build, start with research. And the simplest way to do it is to gather your audience together, whether it's your email list, Facebook, social media, whatever, and ask them those 2 simple questions and that bonus follow-up question. And if you do that, you get enough responses and plot it out, you'll be able to see in very short time, this is where most of the frustrations are, and this is where most of the desires are, and here's where I can insert my book, my brand, my message, and make a difference in these people's lives. That's what it's all about. And if you do research, you're going to know exactly how to hit your audience, exactly where they need it. And I can't wait to see what happens when you do it. Leave a comment below if there's a way of doing research that maybe is different for you that you like. I would love to hear about it. And also, what book are you thinking about writing? Leave a comment and let me know what is the next book idea that you have. Don't worry about someone stealing your idea. Ideas aren't worth much of anything. What's worth way more is execution. And so if you write the book, you'll be well ahead of almost everybody who sees the comment. So leave a comment below. What book are you going to write? What kind of research do you do? How do you decide which book that you want to write? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want more videos on self-publishing, personal development, and online business. My name is Lane Sebring, and I will see you in the next video.